not to forget, feel free to put them in the chat, and we also have a colleague that would be able to help you and assist you on the chat. Otherwise, we will start. Yeah, so first of all, we will give you a brief on Scienza Malta and Internationalization Unit, as well as what are Horizon Europe partnerships, should you not be familiar. And then we will be going through OHAMR in a bit more specific terms, let's say, and eligible costs and national rules, etc. So, as you might be aware, Scienza Malta is the national funding agency in Malta. It is also responsible for the space remit, so we have a space unit. We also have a policy unit that drives basically the thematics and the priorities for Malta, as well as a framework program unit where we have the NCPs for Horizon Europe, as well as the R&I unit that offers national funds for national collaboration. So we have different types of funds. You can feel free to ask us about if you would like to access any kind of other funds as well. We are the internationalization unit, so we will be going into a bit more detail about that specifically. So our aim as a unit is to help facilitate collaboration with researchers abroad. So we try to be the bridge, let's say, between you as the Maltese researcher and international capacities and institutions. So we do so in following international trends and seeing priorities for Malta as well as priorities for the EU and globally, and using research and innovation, we strengthen these collaborations. We do so using national funds because these are both national priorities as well as EU, so the government puts in money as well for these funds to be provided to researchers. This is more or less our portfolio. I'm just giving you this as a brief, so if just in case you're just interested in funds, or if you realize OHAMR is not maybe ideal for you, we have many other opportunities, so feel free to still ask us about that at the end or contact us about this. So within the area of health, we also have the THCS, which is the Transforming Health and Care Systems Partnership, now the OHAMR, and we're also joining Brain Health next year, beginning next year. So more opportunities awaited there. We also have, so THCS, OHAMR, and Brain Health are all multilateral opportunities, so you're expected to do research with multiple partners abroad. We also have bilateral opportunities that are also under the thematic of health or have a pillar for health. So we have one with China and one with Turkey that you could also do research on under the thematic of health with one partner from that country. So going back to multilaterals, we're here to talk about European partnerships. So these are basically a structure that was formed under Horizon Europe and is valid till 2027. It's basically this initiative that was created addressing EU challenges such as climate, health, in this case, energy, as well as innovation in general, kind of as a horizontal topic. These partnerships create joint transnational calls for research and innovation, and they do so annually. So every partnership, such as the OHAMR, would launch an annual joint transnational call asking for proposals to give out funds. So this is more or less the overarching, let's say, number of European partnerships that are currently ongoing. So as you can see, there are quite a lot, and the ones marked in red are the ones that we as Scienza Malta are partners in. So those are the ones that for sure you have opportunities in. However, even if you're interested, for example, in the rare diseases partnership, personalized medicine, area for health, in all the other partnerships basically listed on screen, we also have another scheme that you can access all of these partnerships as well. So again, if you realize OHAMR is not maybe 100% themed to what you want to research, all the ones there you see in cluster 1 under health as well are also available to Maltese beneficiaries through Scienza Malta. So that we can speak about also if you ask us anything about this in the end at the Q&A. So what is a joint transnational call? So basically a small idea as to how it works. So these partnerships, for example, OHAMR joined together with a contribution from the Commission as well as the funding agencies that are participating and launching these joint transnational calls. So basically how it works, it would be that the Maltese beneficiaries, so for example, if UM apply or let's say Ministry for Health or anything of the sort, they would be funded directly by Scienza Malta. So the funds that you would be given would be coming directly from Scienza Malta. A partner from another country, let's say Germany or whatever, would be funded by their national funding agency. And together you will have the full fund for the project. So basically, national partners collaborating through one common call, and each beneficiary is funded by their own national funding agency. This is some general information that you need to keep in mind. So this is a collaborative call. You are required to have a minimum of 3 partners from at least 3 different countries participating in the partnership. One of these would be taking the role of a coordinator and studying a topic, a research topic, starting from it could be, for example, industrial or fundamental research, and then just advancing a bit from there. Self-funded partners are also allowed, so these would be partners that are not particularly getting money from any funding organization, but they would like to participate in a specific task and use their own money in doing so. That's also a possibility. And the call overview would be kind of the following. We will be going into more detail about the call overview, but this is kind of a brief as to have an idea. So a proposal would need to be submitted on behalf of the consortium, so all the countries together forming a consortium. The coordinator would need to submit this proposal on behalf of all of them to the partnership. A national application would need to be submitted by the Maltese beneficiary to us as Scienza Malta, since funds, for example, are coming from Scienza Malta. And here you would need to take care of the national rules. So these would be kind of administrative things that to make sure that you are abiding by these rules. So national application is governed, let's say, by the national rules, and the consortium proposal that would need to be submitted by the coordinator is more or less covered by the call text. So there you'll find more information as well. So kind of the key texts, I would say, would be the call text and the national rules. An evaluation after your submission is done by the call secretariat, not by us, but by professional evaluators that are engaged by the call secretariat. This is more or less the technology readiness level, let's say, so kind of the stage that your idea is at. So for example, from basic principles to experimental technology, would also always be advancing the TRL level scale. In case of OHAMR, there is no specific TRLs that are identified, so it's quite quite good in there. So you can have a bit more freedom to see where your idea is at and just try to advance that TRL accordingly. So now we will be going into much more detail about specific to OHAMR and to this year's call, and I will give the floor to Oksana. Thank you.
All right. Sorry. Good morning, everyone. My name is Oksana, and oh, sorry, my computer is playing games. My name is Oksana, and I'm an executive with Internationalization Unit. Thank you, first of all, for finding time. We know that this is a long week, and so some of the people might not be joining precisely for that reason. So thank you for finding time for this. And I'll try to walk you through the European One Health and Antimicrobial Resistance Partnership and its joint transnational call of this year. So first of all, starting with the partnership itself. It has been launched this year in 2025, and it has a rather clear overarching vision to it. the goal is reducing the burden of AMR. Pretty straightforward. The mission that is the mission that the partnership is being guided by is boosting precisely One Health research and innovation, which would lead to some concrete outcomes such as improved surveillance of resistant pathogens, better diagnostics, effective treatment of infections, and prevention measures, which would reduce the use of antimicrobials in the first place. The partnership brings together 53 partners from 30 countries, spanning the European Union as well as beyond. It is coordinated by the Swedish Research Council, and the planned budget over 10 years is 250 million euros, with Malta allocating 3 million euros alone. The partnership itself is launching since six joint transnational calls in between 2026 and 2031, starting with the one that we will be covering today. The partnership itself is structured across 3 pillars or 3 focus areas. So these are preventing the emergence and the spread of AMR. So the first pillar. The second one, strengthening the appropriate use of antimicrobials and infection prevention and control. And the third one being providing innovative and cost-effective treatment options and interventions. So these 3 focus areas, they're kind of reinforcing each other and they rotate every year. This year's focus is the pillar number 3, which is providing innovative and cost-effective treatments. Based on this third pillar, the international partners came together and came up with the joint transnational call entitled Treatments and Adherence to Treatment Protocols. These 3 they came up with 3 topics. All of them are related, in some sense, related to each other and directly feed into focus area 3. So the first topic is aims to identify and develop new combination treatments by using existing or innovative antimicrobials or antimicrobial with adjunctive treatments to extend the drug efficacy and combat resistance. Basically, this topic is, if you gives a bit of more space for creativity, as you can come up with different variations of innovative treatments. And the idea is to identify and develop therapies to be used in all One Health settings, meaning human, environment, plant settings. The actions are expected under this topic are expected to improve drug efficacy, to reduce the development of resistance against these treatments, and to extend the usability of inexpensive and readily available antimicrobials. Topic area number 2 is developing tools and methods to improve adherence to treatment protocols. As probably practitioners know, one of the major issues is the adherence to the protocol, which can be ideal, but if it's not adhered to properly, it's probably not going to have the efficient results that it's intended to. So basically, as the title suggests, the main objectives under this is identifying the reasons of poor adherence to treatment protocols across different One Health settings, which is human, animal, plant, developing innovative tools and methods to improve the adherence to treatment protocols, and testing and comparing the efficiency of existing or innovative tools and methods on the adherence to these protocols. Now, there's an important disclaimer under this topic that the engagement of end users is mandatory in this case. And end users for the purpose of this topic are actually patients, citizens, and farmers. So this is not, in this case, it's not a prescribing physician. The consideration of the vulnerable groups is also very much expected. And topic number 3, it takes a little bit of a step back into the entire One Health paradigm. It will aim to assess how veterinary and agricultural antimicrobial use would affect AMR transition and inform restrictions for human use antimicrobials. So basically, the first goal is assessing how mechanisms of action, formulations, routes of administration, and treatment regimens influence the risk of AMR emergence and transition, and to assess and to reduce the risk of cross-resistance and limit transmission by improving formulation, dosage, delivery methods, routes of administration, and treatment regimens. Basically, in here, the overarching aim is to generate evidence that would support policies which would restrict certain antimicrobials to human use only, and also inform policies such as, for instance, WHO list of medically important antimicrobials. Now, these are the countries participating in this joint transnational call. In total, we have 28 countries. Bear in mind that these are the countries with whom you could form the consortium. So the countries are 20 EU member states, as well as 7 EU associated countries, and 1 non-EU country, which is South Africa. For more information and for the complete list, you can always refer to the call text, which you will find on the partnership website. Now, when it comes to the consortium composition, the consortium can include a maximum of 6 project partners, which can be increased to 7 if the consortium includes first a partner from the underrepresented country. For this call, this is Czech Republic, Estonia, Hungary, Latvia, Malta, Moldova, Poland, and Slovakia. Or it has a partner where the principal investigator meets the definition of an early career researcher. The more thorough description of the early career researcher you will find also on the call website. And the third option would be if it collaborates with a partner from a startup, SME, or an industry. Now, for the general call specifications, we offer 500,000 euros per project for Malta-based applicants. Projects are to run up to 36 months. The call itself is a 2-stage call involving both national and transnational application. Each project consortium must have a coordinator, and the consortium coordinator must submit the full application via the partnership online tool. It should be noted that all consortium partners need to have a participant identification code, which is, in case you don't have it, there is a separate simple procedure to acquire it. It's just something to keep in mind. This call has 3 evaluation criteria, which is excellence, impact, quality, and efficiency of the implementation. Now, the assessment will be conducted through remote written evaluation by 3 reviewers plus a panel meeting. Each criterion is scored out of 5. To be eligible for funding, the total score of 10 out of 15 is required, with at least 3 points in each criterion, and all 3 criteria carry equal weight in the evaluation process. Now, another disclaimer: proposals which are not relevant to the call and the objectives, or in other words, which are out of scope, will not be funded independently of their scientific quality. The decision if a project is in or out of scope will be taken by the reviewers and evaluation panel in the pre-proposal stage. Now, when it comes to the Scienza multinational specifications, we have quite broad eligibility. Eligible entities are limited liability companies, professional bodies, partnerships, cooperatives, non-profit making organizations, public entities, voluntary organizations, and RKDOs. The important thing is that the entity must be registered and have an operating base in Malta, complying with the national rules based obviously on the nature of the entity. And we invite you to consult the national rules for further details. When it comes to funding modalities, also depending on the nature of the eligible entity, there are 2 possible routes, which is one of them is non-economic entities, which is non-state aid, where the requested funding is up to 100%. And the economic entities, which is a state aid route, which could fall under de minimis or GBER funding modality. When it comes to aid intensities, under de minimis, the requested funding is up to 75%, under GBAR up to 70%. The remainder percentage should be covered by the entity in question, entity itself, and it should not be in kind. An important thing or a recommendation from our side, if your entity hasn't reached the capping of 300,000 over 3 years, we would recommend to choose the de minimis route. Now, when it comes to the financial contribution to a project partner applying under GBAR, it should be 25% of the eligible costs, and the aid intensity can be also topped up as follows by the undertaking size. So, for instance, if you're a small entity, small company, it would be plus 20. If medium, it's plus 10, and extra 25% funding for projects prioritizing effective collaboration and wide dissemination. If you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate and reach out to us. We are happy to organize a one-to-one meeting to explain this a bit more in more detail, as I understand it might be a bit confusing in the beginning. Now, eligible costs covered by Scienza Malta are personnel costs, subcontracting, travel and subsistence, specialized equipment and consumables, costs of IP and knowledge transfer activities, as well as overheads and other operating expenses. Now, again, I would invite you, if there is something specific about your project or something you're not sure about, there are some nuances that or specifications that you're not sure about, please just consult us and we'll be happy to guide you on all of this. Personnel costs under non-economic de minimis and GBAR routes are project management, which is capped at 10% of total project value, and it should be allocated as well as described within research tasks. The maximum is 1,720 hours per person per year, and the hourly rates you will find in our national rules. Now, when it comes to equipment and consumables, under non-economic de minimis route, these costs include the cost to purchase or lease specialized equipment. However, under GBAR, the depreciation costs of specialized equipment for the extent and period used for the project. And these will need to be verified by a certified public accountant. Now, in general, overall, the cost of research consumables should not exceed the 30% of the project value. When it comes to subcontracting, under all of these routes, non-economic, de minimis, and GBAR, it is allowed up to 25% of the project value and must follow fair procurement procedures. Then IP and knowledge transfer activities under all of these routes, they are costs of knowledge transfer activities and patents bought or licensed from outside sources at arm's length conditions. Please, these all need to be discussed with the call manager at the application stage, ideally. Now, when it comes to travel and subsistence, under non-economic and de minimis, these are the costs which are covered: economic flights and public transport, obviously the most economic solutions, as well as per diems for up to 40%, 40 days in a row. For the cost for the attendance of the consortium meetings, so up to 2 persons will be eligible to attend the meeting. And for the attendance of international conferences, up to 2 persons will be eligible to attend every 6 months. Under GBAR, these costs, travel costs, are not eligible. Now, when it comes to overheads and other operating expenses, under all of these routes, these are the costs that are incurred directly as a result of the project, and these will be covered at 20% of direct eligible costs claimed. These are some of the ineligible costs. So, for instance, expenses related to loans and interest, standard office equipment, personnel hours for traveling, or repurchase of the equipment. These would not be covered. Obviously, you should consult the eligible costs and the respective national rules. Now, the application process for the call. This is the indicative timeline for you just to mark these dates. The call has been launched on the 18th of November. The stage 1 or pre-proposal submission deadline is the 2nd February 2026. So this is when we will be conducting admin checks on our side, and the pre-proposal will be evaluated by the Joint Call Secretariat on their end. Now, the proposals which pass this stage will move forward to the stage 2, and the deadline for which is 17th of June. And the procedure mirrors the pre-proposal stage. There is an admin check as well as the evaluation by the Joint Call Secretariat. And the funding decision is expected in November 2026. This will be the grant agreement preparation phase, and this is when communication with the national funding agency is expected. The time frame for the project start is between December 2026 to April 2027, and this is also the phase of the signing of the grant agreements and consortium agreements. Now, what you would need to do for the first stage. First, you would need to submit the national application form and relevant annexes via email to EU Submissions Scienza Malta by the 2nd February 2026, 1 minute to midnight. Please note, this is important. Then the national application form undergoes the administrative check procedure, while the project pre-proposal submitted by the project coordinator to the Joint Call Secretariat undergoes eligibility check as well as external technical evaluation. The further documents will be needed to be provided at the full proposal stage as well. Submission procedure in a bit more detail for stage 1. So the coordinator creates an account on the PT Outline Submission Tool, which is OHAMR Partnerships online submission tool. Then the coordinator would add partners to the consortium, and partners can input their own data and would need to validate their participation. For this phase, a requirement is to show indicative budget for each partner. Category budgets in this case can be indicative, but the total cannot increase. And the national documentation and applicable annexes are as per national rules. And here you can see the table just to guide you a little bit on what is required. So as you can see, the national application form as well as CVs are required under all funding routes. Submission procedure for stage 2. Now, stage 2 is the full proposal submission, and as I mentioned before, it is upon invitation. The coordinator would submit the project description on the same online submission tool. In this case, the requirement is for the detailed budget for each partner. And again, further national documentation and annexes as per national rules, and you can see the table which shows which documents are required for which route chosen. And for further details on the full proposal stage, please refer to the call text, as there are some specifications, including an evaluation criteria, which are applicable under the stage 2 or for full proposal stage. This is just to show how the OHAMR submission platform looks like. This is sign up in here. It's just please bear in mind that since it's a new tool, it might take a bit of time to create the form and to go through all of the checklists in there, and just to navigate it. It might take a while. So just not to leave everything to the last minute, basically. For more information, you can always refer to the call webpage, where you will also find the proposal template. For submission documents for Scienza Malta, you will find them on our website. If you go to the funding schemes and under open funding schemes, you will find the national rules for participation and the application form, while under the resources page, you will find all of the relevant annexes there. Now, since one of the major hurdles when forming the consortium is actually finding the correct partners or finding specific expertise, the OHAMR partnership has created the partner search tool, which you will find by accessing the link in a slide. And in order to map and understand a little bit better the gaps and the strength of the research capacity in the field of OHAMR across all of these countries participating in the partnership, the OHAMR partnership has created a survey where they want to see better what are the gaps, what are the strengths in these respective fields. So we invite you to take part in the survey and to represent Malta's perspective more thoroughly in there. So sorry for being so quick and through